Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat and welcome to a brand new series here on TFC. It's called The Weekend Preview. I'll be joined by Connor every week. Welcome back, mate.
Thank you.
Are you excited to be back?
Actually, I am.
Yeah, it's been a very long time, but we are back now. A brand new series where we'll be looking at the games for the upcoming weekend every single week. So we're giving a preview, won't be doing predictions. Prem Predictions is not going anywhere, so don't you guys worry about that. But this is just a little other thing we can explore some of the other games across Europe and across other leagues. This weekend, it's the international break. It's a bit of a weird time to introduce it. We've got a couple different games from across League Two, the WSL, and some friendlies, and of course, some European qualifiers. So, shall we just go right into it?
Yeah.
First up, it is Spain versus Scotland then. Now, on paper, not the most exciting game. Spain, of course, a very, very good team. Scotland, not at perhaps the same quality, but of course, when they played earlier in the season, Scotland did end up winning that game with Scott McTominay playing a very, very crucial role. So, could you see Scotland upsetting them again?
No. Just,
Why not?
yeah, McTominay at the minute is ridiculous.
McTominay is doing really well. I mean, if he can play in a higher role like he did for Manchester United when he came off the bench, I do think he's much better in those roles. It's where he played in the youth side. It's where he can have the most impact, I would say.
He was a striker, wasn't he?
Oh, exactly. When he plays deeper, he doesn't do anything.
He's awful when he plays.
He just loses the ball too easily, I would say.
Yeah, and to anybody that wants it, just go, take it.
Yeah, fair enough. And I think the Scotland side is actually playing some genuinely decent football. When we watched England-Scotland about a month ago now, that was a friendly, or the 100th year anniversary, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Scotland actually played some decent stuff, and I think they've got a decent side now. You know, a couple of young talents coming through, Billy Gilmore, Nathan Patterson, players like that. You've also got the old guard of Andrew Robertson, John McGinn, and obviously, as we mentioned, Kieran Tierney as well. As we mentioned, Scott McTominay. So, if they play McTominay in a higher role, which you'd imagine they will, because they don't really have any forwards, I think they could get. They do have Shay Adams, so they don't really have any forwards. Shay Adams not the most prolific. I think they could get something from the game. I think Spain are a little bit lacklustre if we look back at Spain's most recent matches. 6-0 against Cyprus, 7-1 against Georgia. Not really representative of the quality you'd expect them to play against. But, you know, they lost to Croatia, lost on penalties to Croatia. Beat Croatia on penalties in the Nations League. But they lost to Scotland a couple of months ago. They lost to Japan back at the World Cup in December. I think there's a few questions around the quality of Spain and whether it's down to the manager or the team. They just don't seem to click as a team.
It's the manager's too self-obsessed.
You reckon?
Yeah, because he supports, I can't remember which club it is, but he just doesn't pick players for a club. Is it Real Madrid?
Potentially. I think, he doesn't tend to name many Real players. You would expect, though, with Joselu and Fran Garcia making favour with him in previous tournaments, previous games, you'd expect him to come in.
At the World Cup, there wasn't a single Real Madrid player on the Spanish team.
Yeah, I mean, that is interesting. Obviously, Carvajal was injured, I believe, for that. You had, Fran Garcia and Joselu have both just joined Real Madrid. To be fair, there weren't many Spain players at Real Madrid. So it wasn't a lot. You had Asensio.
Who is just he can play anywhere, so he's not.
Was he not at the World Cup?
No, I think no. He had a fantastic season towards the end of last year before the World Cup.
Yeah, he's been injured for a large part of the start of this season. But
as well.
He's not.
But again, he can play anywhere down that right hand side. Is the thing.
No, he has got that versatility.
They took not Nico Williams. Anarchy Williams at Ross. No.
It's Nico.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah, Nico Williams, the right winger. Yeah.
Shouldn't have questioned it.
He's a good player though, Nico. To be fair, against Vazquez, do you take the older guy who can cover multiple positions when you've already got a few right backs, or do you take the exciting young winger?
Name me a good Spanish right back.
Danny Carvajal.
Wasn't there.
You had Azpilicueta was still at the World Cup.
But he's about 55.
He's in the side. You had Jesus Navas, also old, but
really old.
Yeah, I do get your point. I think they will look at. Do you think that a call up could be in for Ivan Fresneda?
No.
Okay. Fair enough.
No.
I think he's a good player. I think he could. He could get a call up. I don't know if he'll start though. I believe he is Spanish, so he should be getting into that side soon.
They forced De Gea to retire from international football.
Yeah, I don't think he'd have got in either way though. I mean, they've got Raya, Kepa, and Unai Simon.
But I just feel like De Gea is too big to go, you're not playing ever again.
Yeah. I think, especially with a big tournament, surely you take him either way, right? Even if you're not going to play him.
But for Spain, he's fantastic, is the worst part.
Yeah.
Hector Bellerin got forced into retirement. I know he's not any good anymore, but this was when he was still at
He's forced himself into retirement, hasn't he?
This is when he was still at Arsenal. Like, just the season 4, he played awful. And they went, look, you're not getting back.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I think this game should be interesting then. Spain obviously 10th in the world, but we don't really care about FIFA rankings. Scotland 31st. Scotland look very likely to be going to the Euros. Currently sat top of their group. Obviously, the Euros at the end of the season in Germany. They're on 15 points. If they beat Spain, I think they're almost qualified. There's only 5 teams in their group. They've already played 5 matches, so they're already 8 points ahead of Norway. If they win, they'll be enough ahead of Spain and enough ahead of Norway that they'll put themselves in a very, very strong position.
They guarantee it. Right? 6 games out of...
Well, they'd move up onto 18 points. If Norway win, they'll still be on 10. Spain do have a game in hand as well to bear in mind.
Yeah.
But I do think it'll be very tight.
No, I think
even if they fell apart. Especially given, almost guarantees them considering who they still have to play.
They're guaranteed qualification from it, not necessarily guaranteed first, though.
Yeah, I guess it also depends on the Norway result. Norway playing Cyprus,
but then
that should be fairly
this is all
routine.
On Scotland winning, Norway could only get another 9 points to put them on 16, whereas Scotland would go on to 18.
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm thinking they play 10 games. Obviously, they play themselves, yeah. So Scotland are pretty much through.
Scotland need
a point against Spain, I think.
Single point a single point, because unless Norway scored 12 in their last.
Yeah, and then Scotland play Georgia after that, which you would assume would be a win.
Yeah, so
they put themselves in a really strong position.
Yeah,
to return to the Euros. So yeah, they've got doing well. Yeah, I mean they got to the last Euros, of course, in the group with England. They managed to get a draw, which they celebrated like a win. Always link back to that, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see them at the Euros. In terms of our other UK teams, I'm not quite sure how Ireland are getting on. They are they're in the group with France, Netherlands, Greece. They're currently sat 5th. I can't see them qualifying with 3 games to go. They'd have to win all their games and hope that Netherlands fall apart.
They'd have
Gibraltar on minus 17 goal difference. It's difficult.
Yeah. Wales, they're also 4th, but they're joint 3rd.
Yeah, Wales have a much easier group and a much greater chance of getting through. But they're only 3 points off top. Well, Turkey hosted. Turkey played the first game of the last Euros, didn't they? And they will host 2032. That was announced today. England will host 2028, and England and the UK, and then it's a joint Turkey and I want to say Italy bid for 2032.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that should be. Pope's funding.
I don't know if it's
Pope's funding the Euros.
No, he's funding their bid for it.
All right. Okay.
And obviously, it's just costs the country a lot of money.
But it can make them an awful lot of money once they've got those right.
It's like Russia paid, I think it was 6 billion for theirs.
Yeah.
They made 6.2. They made 200 million back.
Pretty decent return on investment. £200 million.
It's nothing to shout about, though.
Fair enough.
It's better making a loss, which I'm assuming we've made already. We've probably made silly money to get the Euros.
I don't know though, because I think when you include tourism and flights and all that sort of stuff, money brought into the country, I think England will make a
profit just for the Euros.
Potentially.
I don't think we'll make it back. I think we'll easily make back what we paid before.
Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine Qatar made
No, because they spent silly money on everything.
They spent a lot of money, but they've built all their stadiums, of course, which doesn't help when you've got to do that. But yeah. Shall we move on to the Friday games then? Because we do have some interesting games on Friday. First of which, Netherlands versus France. I think a lot of people are very interested in this game due to the fact that we don't really know how Netherlands are going to look. They've got a game against France where they've got no Gakpo, no De Jong, no De Ligt, no Noah Lang, no Berghuis, Botman, Koopmeiners. It's a very depleted Netherlands squad.
Sven Botman, he's probably injured again.
He's injured, yeah. He's been out for a good few weeks now, and out for a couple more. Yeah, I think Netherlands very weak and playing against arguably the best side in the world right now. I think it's a tough one for Netherlands. It's a really tough game.
Yeah, but Netherlands are Netherlands. They always find a way to do something.
Yeah, Yeah, I guess we could see them do something against France. They should still get through through the groups. They are on 9 points from 4 matches so far. The only game they lost, I believe, was that game against France. They've got they're on the same points as Greece, but they do have a game in hand, so they should be in a good situation there. And then, of course, they do play Greece on Monday, so
yeah,
they should be fun. They should get through the group.
I feel like the Greece game is more dependent on. No, it's bigger for Netherlands than the France game.
Yeah,
France are always guaranteed to get through, no matter like.
Yeah, but a win for Netherlands would put themselves in a really good position.
Oh, of course.
Because they would therefore be ahead of Greece and still have that game in hand.
I feel like guaranteeing points and the team that you're closest to dropping points.
Yeah.
Is arguably more important than you picking up points against a team that are going to get through anyway.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really matter where you pick up the points as long as you pick up more points, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I think if they win against France, that's huge. But they've got to make sure they win against Greece on Monday, which their squad should be more than capable of doing.
Well, so, yeah. Who got called up for Netherlands then? Every single player.
Well, I'm not actually sure, because if you look through their squad, a lot of them are injured. So I'm not sure. I mean, they've still got players like Xavi Simons who can get them over the line. Obviously, Steven Bergwijn. They've still got Tiano Reinders, who's having a decent season at Milan. They've got Denzel Dumfries, who they don't really use effectively. They've got
He's really good.
Jeremy Frimpong, who is someone that has just been completely unused by Ronald Koeman. I think Koeman made some comment like he doesn't play defensively enough. It's just like, you're playing wing backs, mate.
He's not going to need to get back.
If you can overload on attack and score goals, you don't need to get back.
As good as Dutch people say he is, and as Liverpool fans say he is, he wouldn't need to get back.
Yeah, I mean, they've still got a very strong defence, even without Matthias de Ligt and Sven Botman. You'd imagine it would look something like Van der Ven, Van Dijk and Ake. That's two left-side centre-halves, so potentially Stefan de Vrij coming in on the right, but whatever it is. Yeah, and Van der Ven's in great form, so we could see him in there.
So it will probably not be Ake unless he's cleared from checks, but still
a strong defence.
It's fantastic. Netherlands have always looked good defensively, but attackingly they've always looked.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back at the last team that played for them, it was a 3-4-3 with an Ake, Van Dijk, de Ligt backline, so they are losing a lot of that backline. Dumfries, Weifer, De Jong and Blind. Again, no De Jong in this game, and then the front three of Simons, Malen and Gakpo. No Gakpo again. So it's an interesting team. I don't think Flecken is a fantastic goalkeeper either, so in that regard...
Well, he's good enough considering the defence he's got in front of him.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be world class.
But do you feel that Netherlands are now coming out of their golden generation?
Yeah.
Because they've had a very strong team. And while Netherlands have always had strong teams, it feels like there is a little bit of a surplus of talent going forwards. They've got a lot of players right now, but I don't know if they're
if you think about it,
ready to compete for World Cup.
Jeremy Frimpong's not that old. Jeremy Simon's still young.
Yeah, Simons is still really young. As is
Marlon's 24.
Yeah, Van der Ven's young as well. Marlon's 24. Van der Ven's young. They've still got some decent young talents. I just question whether they lose. Van Dijk's probably only got a couple World Cups left. Yeah, Blind, you'd imagine he's played his last World Cup by now.
Done for.
Yeah, Frankie de Jong is already 26, so 2 more World Cups, 3 more World Cups maybe.
Completely off topic, not really plays France. Kylian Mbappe, yeah? How old?
It's a big. 25.
Yeah, mental.
Yeah, yes.
That's mental.
He's already...
Last season, right? This is why I was really confused when I saw this. This is how I found out he's 25. He was put in the under-21s nominee for the team of the season, right? When he was 24.
But was it under-21s? Is it? I would expect it to be under-23s, no?
No.
Oh. I don't know how they've
France football had him as a nominee for under-21 player of the year.
Wow.
When he was 24 years old.
Yeah, I've seen it. Obviously, under-23s. We were over the under-23s Euros. There's a lot of players that are already 24 and stuff because
that was
you have to be under-23 when the qualifiers start. So
qualifiers.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Smart, but also kind of takes away the whole point of under-21.
Yeah, because you don't get to see all the young players because you have the England under-21 side that won, or under-23s, under-21s, I can't remember which one it was, that won the tournament last summer, that won the Euros. Yeah, they had Madueke, Cole Palmer. Yeah, exactly. Players like that have been, Curtis Jones. It's players that have been established at the top level for a while. Even James Trafford in goal had a full season of League One football. You've got defenders like Levi Colwill was playing like he's played so much football at the highest level. You've got
Smith Rowe, who
Mohamed Bellis. Yeah, Smith Rowe was involved a little bit as well.
I'm not even going to. That man gets done dirty. He plays on Friday, no? Thursday.
Yeah.
That's Serbia.
Yeah, under 21s do play Serbia. As for the England's men's team, then, well, we've got a friendly against Australia on Friday. Should be fairly easy, right? Fairly light work.
But you say that all the time, but it's England.
Yeah,
So
I just don't view that Australia squad as having much quality. You know, you look at it, they've got a Matt Ryan still in goal for them. Harry Souttar's decent, but he doesn't cut it at the top level, I don't think. You've got, other than that, I'm struggling to recognise names in this team, to be honest. Brandon Barreiro is not horrendous, but there's a surplus of talent. Not a surplus. Is surplus the right? No, the opposite. There's, yeah, exactly. A very short supply of talent, I would say.
And as much as I'd love to say
for Australia,
confident, but we're England.
Yeah, I just don't see how they challenge us, though.
I feel like England are the Spurs of national team football.
Bottling.
Everything.
Bottle the Euros. Could argue bottle the World Cup.
No, that was not our fault. Neither was the... I can't say Euros, wasn't...
We should have won that game.
I just...
Definitely should have won that game. But I think Australia, Friday night, should be light work. We are at home as well. I think we're the much stronger team. Much stronger team.
Southgate's going to throw out some Jordan Henderson.
Walker's in goal. Henderson's up front.
Yeah.
The team, again, the team selection was a little bit weird. I thought that
it was all
overall he did all right. But Maguire's obviously still in there.
But do you know what?
Henderson's still in there somehow.
I don't know when he made the team. If you were going off last weekend and he picked Maguire based off last...
He did do well, to be fair. I mean, I even put him in Premier League Team of the Week. For anyone that saw that on Insta.
William Sleep still rocked. Manic. That was... Anyway, but... Harry Maguire's been good enough recently.
He's always been good for England, so I do get it in that regard. But with Henderson, I really don't understand it.
That makes no sense.
Because he's not playing at the highest level anymore. He's not a very good player either.
What's he been doing in the Saudi League? Should you have a look?
Who cares, to be honest? It's such a low standard of football that it doesn't really matter to me. I presume he's played every game, right?
He's played 90 minutes every game.
Yeah. Well, you're not taking him off, are you? For some random bloke you never heard.
Against all the clubs that have signed loads of players, he's done nothing.
Yeah.
Against all the clubs that haven't done anything, booked, assist.
Well, it doesn't help when your manager's Jordan Henderson, not Steven Gerrard, does it?
No.
Hardly the most quality, but yeah.
Considering they actually signed some good players.
What, Ella Tefeki?
Yeah. Damari Gray, Moussa Dembele.
No, they did do all right. But yeah, England-Australia on Friday, I don't know. I feel like England should win, though.
Oh, I agree. Should win.
But will we?
Will we win?
Who knows? Yeah. On to some domestic-based football then. A lot of internationals over this weekend, but there is still some domestic stuff for you guys that don't really enjoy international football. I'm going to be honest, not a huge fan of it myself. International football's a little bit. Yeah. I think international week's a bit meh. Yeah. And England have a friendly and then an Italy game, but we're pretty much already qualified for the Euros. So
yeah.
It's not of great importance to me, but there is some domestic football then. So on the Saturday, we have in League Two a very big clash between Notts County and Mansfield. Now, if you've not been keeping up with League Two this season, you probably haven't noticed that Notts County are having a storming start to the campaign. 7 wins from 12 matches, 24 points, and they sit top of League Two, despite only being promoted last season.
I feel like it's expected.
Yeah, obviously, we've seen it recently how teams from the National League are able to jump into League Two and make a profound impact instantly. We saw it last season with Stockport, we saw it the season before with Salford. I know neither of those sides have been promoted, but they're both right up there. Stockport, again, still second in League Two. Yeah. Salford are having a bad start to the year, but a lot of teams from the VNL jumping straight into the League Two and doing well.
Wrexham being 7th.
You think low or high?
Too low.
Okay.
But that might just be the hype. I don't really know. I only watched them through Belfast last year. So.
Yeah, fair enough. Wrexham are a good side. They at the moment have a lot of defensive frailties though, and that's cost them a lot. I mean, if you look at their fixtures so far this season, I mean, last weekend doesn't really demonstrate it, but if we look back through their fixtures, 3-3 with Crewe, 5-0 loss to Stockport. But then you've got like 3-0 wins over Grimsby. Earlier in the season, 5-5 with Swindon, 4-2 over Walsall, 5-3 loss to MK Dons on the opening day. High scoring games. They're very good going forwards, but have a lot of defensive frailties. I still think that they are consistent enough to get playoffs at a minimum, possibly automatic, so they do well enough.
I think the one big thing with Wrexham though is Paul Mullins' rib injury. He's still back.
Yeah, I mean that is an issue, of course.
When he comes back, they must start flying because he's like a high League One level player.
Yeah.
Low Championship.
Yeah, I mean they have done well though in his absence, and they should keep that up.
Yeah.
And then they've got Salford this weekend who haven't had a very good start, so they're in a good position. As for the game we're focusing on, though, Notts County versus Mansfield, it is on Sky, so you guys can watch it. I personally will. I think it's going to be a very good game. Notts County should be the favourites, but Mansfield sat in 5th. They're into the Carabao Cup round 16.
Round 16.
Yeah, round 16, where they will play Port Vale. Good chance of getting through to the quarters. They're having a really, really good season so far. Sat in 5th, a win could put them very high. Do you think they could take the game to Notts County, or Notts County just too strong?
Notts County have been fabulous.
They haven't.
I don't like, 1 or 2 losses this season?
Yeah, so not many losses. They lost 5-4 to Colchester, and what was a bit of an unfortunate game. They drew a Barrow last weekend, which you wouldn't have really expected, to be fair. Their only other loss this season coming at the hands of Sutton United, who beat them 5-1 on the opening day of the season.
That's the other big one.
Yes, Sutton also doing decently, though, at the moment. They are... Or at least they started well. They have now dropped to 23rd. So
that first game of the season,
yeah, not ideal.
Everybody was saying it's a reality shock for both Wrexham and Notts County.
Do you think though it was simply just adaptation to the league?
Yeah, it's very different.
Because clearly their sides have the quality. It's just that they've got to be a little bit more defensive. They're not playing against VNL sides who will give them a little bit of a wriggle room in terms of you can give them away more chances and get away with it. But yeah.
I just don't. Yeah, I feel like they underestimated the jump between non-league and
and Football League. Yeah, fair enough. But Notts County Mansfield should be a really interesting game. I think the favour's probably with Notts County. I think 100%. The odds represent that as well. But Mansfield are certain to give them a good match. And I think that's going to be a really interesting game. And with the absence of Premier League and the absence of Championship football, it's worth going and have a look at League One, League Two, see what games are on. See if what games are near to you. Go and have a watch if there's free tickets. But yeah, then on to the Sunday. Of course, we've got a lot of WSL action this weekend. On Saturday, there's Chelsea versus West Ham. That should be a real interesting one. Chelsea, a very strong team. They should win that. But the big game we want to focus on is on Sunday. Now we are live from TFC Live, of course, me and Harry. But Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Have you watched any WSL action this season?
I watched half the Liverpool game and then we conceded and I turned off because. Yeah,
it's Liverpool have done really well. I don't think anyone expected them to win their first 2 games against the 2 sides we have facing off this weekend, Arsenal and Aston Villa. I think most people would have said they'd have lost those. So they're in a good position. They play Everton this weekend, which you would expect to be a win. Arsenal Villa, though, should be a really interesting game. Arsenal started the campaign pretty poorly, it has to be said. They've had 2 relatively difficult games. You would expect them to beat Liverpool, though. United, they got somewhat fortunate with that draw coming as a result of the late goal. But
yeah,
that was a little fortunate. But with Villa, while it is a tough match, I think Arsenal could get back to winning ways. Villa have started the season poorly with losses to United and Liverpool, so it's a good opportunity for Arsenal to get their first win on the board, I would say. Should be an interesting game. As I say, we are live for it on Sunday. Going to be a good one.
Arsenal and Villa's women both played the exact same teams this season.
Arsenal, Man United. Liverpool, Man United. Yeah, just in a different order. But yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird thing.
Yeah, but neither of them really took anything from me. I mean, if you asked me to predict those opening games and look at and predict the table from those opening matches, I wouldn't have said that Arsenal would be sat 9th with 1 point and the Villa would be 11th with none. So. Yeah, both haven't had the starts they would have dreamed of. Arsenal already 3 points behind Chelsea, 3 points behind United, 3 points behind City. It's not an ideal start for them. Villa, who would have wanted to challenge for 4th this season or at least be 5th, also struggling. And top of the league are Leicester.
Yeah.
I mean, no one saw that coming. I would say they've had a nice run. Bristol City on the opening day. That's a very easy match. Then they had Everton last weekend. Both games that they could have won and they did win. Their squad, It's not the strongest. They do have Janina Leitstig, who's a very, very good goalkeeper and pretty much kept them up last season. They have got some other decent players as well in their side, but nothing that really jumps out to you. Deanna Rose, who's in the Canadian national side. Who's that?
Lena Petterman.
Can't say I've heard of her. The German.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. Can't say I've heard of her, but...
Seems right, though.
I mean, yeah, she start the season well. 2 goals, 1 assist from 2 matches. Yeah. Never really something to scoff at. So yeah, a lot of WSL this action. If you're missing the Premier League and want to watch some domestic football, there's a lot of WSL action on Sunday. Games throughout the day. Should be a really interesting weekend of football. That's everything for the first edition of the weekend preview. We'll be back next week with Premier League action, with Bundesliga. There's a big Bundesliga game, I believe. It's Bayern Munich have a big match. So should be interesting to look at that. Of course, La Liga, Serie A, Liga, and all the top leagues. So I think from now on we'll be looking at one game from all of those leagues, and looking at that. So yeah, if it's something if you enjoyed the first episode of this new series, do make sure to leave a like. If you're listening on Spotify, head on over to YouTube and get involved with the discussion there. But that is everything from us today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.